usually people come to be massaged because something's hurting them, they're aching. Maybe they're, I don't know, they just want to strengthen their body, they want to strengthen their blood circulation, or they just want to relax and have a good time. However, this woman came to me for a totally different reason. Why'd she come to me? She said because something huge was happening in her life and she didn't have time to think about it. So, wow, that's so interesting. You get a massage in order to think about it? Then, as I was, in this with her, I thought to myself, you know what? It's actually this week's Parsha. It says that to a certain degree. What? Yes. What happens? This week's Parsha was actually a continuation, of course, of last week's Parsha Shemot. And last week's Parsha, at the very end, what do we have? We have a situation where Moshe comes to Am Yisrael, he comes to the nation of Israel, and he says, okay, we're going to go out. And at the very first time, they believed, okay, this is going to happen. Now, they were under tremendous amount of hard labor, and it was a labor that was a labor to labor, meaning Paro subjugated to a type of slavery where they were just working and working and working and working to work. He made it so that they wouldn't have any time to think at all, which step one to slavery is no time for thinking. Just run around in a circle, work and work. But then there was a little bit more of a slavery, which was what? It's one thing if you don't have time to think, but it's another thing if the only thinking that you're doing is one that's stressing you out, that's worrying you, that's causing you a tremendous amount of pain and suffering. And where did that come from? Paro, when Moshe came to him, he said, you know what? I'm going to make it even harder for the Jews. But he didn't make it harder by saying, I'm going to double the amount of work they have to do. Because then it's like, okay, I have to get 100 done, so now I have to get 200 done. A lot of stress, a lot of work, but okay, I just will push myself a little bit more and I'll get it done. No, that's not what he did. He said, I'm keeping the quota, but I'm taking away the straw, I'm taking away the bricks, which is what? Now I have to worry about how I'm going to get it done. So before my body was subjugated, I didn't have time to think, but now my mind is subjugated, where all I am is trapped and enslaved to worry and stress. And then it says that in this week's Parsha that they couldn't believe Moshe. They had kotzer ruach. They couldn't even breathe. They couldn't breathe, not just because of physical subjugation, but they couldn't breathe because of worry and stress. They could not breathe. And then what does Hashem start to do? He starts to send these makot, these plagues. Now, what was one of the reasons behind these makot, these plagues? Was it to punish the Egyptians for all that they'd done? Or was it to tell the Jews, like, look, there's a God? Well, you know what? I'm sure it was both, but I have another idea as well, which was what? The plagues were actually, according to an opinion of Moshe Boyer and our sages, is that they were actually in order for Am Yisrael to what? To relax. What? To relax? Yes. You see, before a person can even tap into Emunah, before they can start to believe and think about, okay, how is Hashem going to get me out of this situation? Before they could even think, okay, what effort do I have to do versus what effort should I not be doing? Gotta relax your body. There had to be a certain sensation of relaxation in order to tap into what really is going on. In order to make any change, there sometimes has to be a stopping. In fact, every single week we get the most beautiful bracha that there is, which is called Shabbat, which really tells us, take a break, stop, and think about what was the purpose of those 6 days you were just working. Meaning the idea behind the plagues was, like, let up on the Jews. Like, give them a time to breathe. Give them a time that they can actually think about what's going on. Maybe how they got there. Maybe tap into why they're there, how they're going to get out. Tap into Hashem. Tap into what Moshe is trying to tell them. They needed to relax in order to get there. And you know what's really interesting about the word relax in Hebrew? Lapot, to like just relax your body. It's actually the same letters as to heal, but it's without an aleph, which teaches us the first step to healing is actually just relax the body. It's to take a deep breath. It's to take a step back from the situation, calm yourself, calm the body, and then you can enter the aleph, which is Hashem. It's the oneness, it's achad, it's emunah, it's believing and tapping into your creator. It's tapping into yourself of having emunah. We first relax, and then we can tap into the emunah. And then what happens, there's a refuah, there's a geulah. It's the same thing as the galut, which is the exile, is actually inside the geulah in the redemption, just you need to add that aleph, that emunah, the echad. So here we have these plagues, right? And we're saying that on the one hand, they were given to Jews, the Am Yisrael, in order they could just relax, to tap into how they can think about, okay, now where are we going to go with this? But also, they were given to the Egyptians. And what's so interesting about it is I was thinking to myself, who's more of the slaves in this story? Was Am Yisrael the slaves, the Egyptians, or actually the Egyptians enslaved to who? Themselves. How? Because look at Paro. He keeps getting these messages, and the messengers coming. He's getting one plague after another, one hit after another, and guess what? He doesn't change. He's a slave to his own beliefs. He's a slave to his own slave mentality. He's a slave to himself, which is the worst kind of slavery that there is. So here we see in this week's Parsha some incredible points, some incredible teachings. Number one, sometimes you just have to relax your body. You have to take a deep breath. Breathe in the light of Hashem. Breathe in that olive. Take that olive from above and let it just shine over your whole entire body as you take deep breaths, relax the body, and just stop. Tap into that stopping in Shabbat. Tap into that stopping when you are just feeling so overwhelmed emotionally that you just sort of relax the body and take a deep breath. And then step two, you can then start to think about it. You add in the emunah, you connect it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You see, okay, what can I do here? What can I not? But also, so importantly as well, is that the things that happen in our lives, they're to give us messages to wake up. Yes, think about it, contemplate it. Change is one of the biggest blessings there is. Change means you're not a slavery to who? To yourself.